All right, folks, let's get on with the Thursday edition here and just get everybody going, set up. Nice little BTC pump to go with today's show. What's happening? Come on in, everybody. Settle in on a summer Thursday edition. A 112,500 Bitcoin edition. Getting close, right? Getting really close. Great to see everybody. What's up? Oh, you know what? Forgot to pop that in for my folks. Everybody else, get over to get the software over at harmonictrader.com. Easiest way, just send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. 14-day free trial. Get with it. And we're going to have to get with the bigger picture of what's happening on Bitcoin. Here we go. 112,637. Again, 115 is still the number. But I'm impressed for a few reasons. And I'm still looking at the larger zone here. We know 115 is the, absolute fat finger point. Meaning nothing would hold that back once you get above 115. Still in this shark zone, but what's the shark? What's it going to do here? Looking like a dud. We're day, 45? And even had confirmation. This was what we were looking for just on Tuesday. Come back, retest 109.2. What did it do? It blew right through. We're 2 days into that. Even if I was saying, remember, we could even look at this as like a 30-day window. And then if that's a 30-day window, what's the 3 to 5 window tell you? Day 3, we're screaming. Where will be day 5? And if we're above 115, it's on. That's been that has been what we've been talking about all along. And hopefully that brings life to the rest of crypto. I'm not changing though. I'm firmly with the fact that you have two markets. You have Bitcoin, which is a gold equivalent, and then you have crypto, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, all that other stuff. There will be big winners, but market capitalization, all of that. You have to look at these separately, and in terms of a general driver of allocation, Bitcoin needs to be screaming all-time new highs to really get money to flow back into this market, into the rest of crypto. The other the other 99,000 crypto coins out there or more that deserve even a look, maybe 900. So impressive stuff. I'm happy to see this. I would love to see this breakout. Here we are. We're already getting to mid-July, guys. And I did think that maybe we'd had to push off the accelerated move above 115 to more like August or September. And so show me, prove me. Let's see it. I got to be proven wrong here. But I want to kind of take a look at Bitcoin here on a few different angles to really dive deep on what are the possibilities. What are the possibilities here? And first, let's come back to just general market cap. Bitcoin market cap, 2.25, 2.24 trillion. Where does this go? Okay, because people are talking about gold equivalent. Maybe it's a 5 trillion. Maybe it's a 10 trillion. Something like that. A lot to consider here because those are the larger numbers you're talking about, and this is the bigger deal of what you're trying to get to see happen and develop is Bitcoin to go not just higher and not just a lot higher, but I mean real bonkers acceleration. And on the crypto market cap here, remember, there's a big reason why we've done what we've done for the last 6 months. Okay, 1618 is there. The 1618 metric is like 1.92, 1.94-ish. And then our top metric, 1902, is 2.2 trillion. And the same principle applies where we're looking at this as like a scale. A scale of progression, stair-stepping action. Hit the 1618, retrace. 1902, pause. Now what? Can we get above the 1902? So by definition, this is where the character of the whole move is supposed to change. Not only because it's at all-time new highs, guys, and it is the crypto cycle, and everybody wants to see it happen, and mass adoption, and Bitcoin treasury plays, and all of that. It should be hyped. We're looking for frenzy. We're looking for Bitcoin now to do the much larger move above this 1902 level. Again, on the total market cap, it's above 2.2 trillion. Get specific here. And then where does it go? We've seen it in so many other markets, gold, individual stocks, where once we get above this and start to go, the next stop is a 2618 advance. We've seen that on price. That puts you like 2.9 plus. But in terms of the scale and the way that this should start to change character, Give it maybe 2 more weeks. Get the monthly close in. But again, I'm been waiting and waiting and waiting. Don't care if it's 115 or 93. I'm talking about a 2618 advance once we get through all of this. And it looks like we're going to get through it. Yep, great to see everybody. What's going on, chat? I had to jump right in. I just had to get started. Didn't I totally ignored you guys. But I just had to get into it because Bitcoin all-time new highs right now. And I'm sure everybody's about to jump online and do their live stream. Great to see everybody. What's up? Constance, Chip, Flipper, Cactus Leo, Victoria, David, Mr. Rooster, Hook of Fish, everyone else, Jonathan. What's going on? Jonathan, what's up? Great to see you. Thanks for showing up. So this is the point, guys, though. This is why I have said 115 the whole time. Many of you know, okay, that have been with me for months and probably a couple of years now, especially the last two, that we had talked about 1618 the whole time. I mean, when we were down here breaking out, we said 1618 price discovery is the primary assumption for the whole cycle. That was 1025. And then a 1902, which is like 115-ish on the spot price. Market cap is probably there. That is the top side limit before we could go and do something in an accelerated manner. And you're there. And that's the monthly chart's there. And the monthly chart also really important that we get bullish month this month and next month that would send it now, at least month over month, in preparation for a bigger push the fall. It's just ready. And the numbers are clear. The spot price 115. I'll say 220, 225. We start pushing above 225. 2.25 trillion on the Bitcoin market cap, then bigger things can happen. And the first stop is the 3 trillion mark, 2.9 to 3 trillion. And that's how you get to like the 160 spot price level. And we're looking at that. Same deal on spot price. That's why it's so important. Look, we don't want to, I didn't want to jump the gun on this and just say, and just be like everybody else and be like, okay, yeah, Bitcoin a million, Bitcoin a million. I mean, there's got to be a value add to why you guys come here. And that a lot of that is our levels and timing. Okay, of like, I don't miss too many. Maybe this shark that we've been dealing with has been a little tricky, especially because we have a daily dot 2 days ago. I mean, really, the first day we could even consider that was Tuesday. Yesterday was like, we're going to ignore that sign there. And I think right now, you got to be looking 114, 300 hop test. Maybe a secondary. Looks like HSI wants to go back up too. And you can see amplified here. I mean, these are all signs where it's like, hey, we're still pushing. Price wants to go higher. That's overbought, but that's expanding. I think you got like another 2,000 to the upside. And then we'll see. I mean, we could be here scratching 115 on Tuesday at this rate. We want to see it. I mean, you want to see this thing do the move. It reminds me of last summer, but maybe it's a little more aggressive than last summer. I mean, last summer we had this kind of a thing. We never made a new high until over here, but certainly new highs are critical. Yeah, great to see you guys. What's up, Jean Remy? Thanks for showing up. Red, what's up? Can you tell the other people in the Discord? I'm sorry, I've just been a little preoccupied today. Thanks. Justin saying 115 for the short. I think 115 is your number. I mean, it's for this move now. But it's above 115. Like, we'll hit the 115 mark, and then let's give it a day or two. But right now, I'd say, all right, look, this had the confirmation yesterday. but wants to push higher into the zone. Great. But we know what to expect. So again, our longer term strategy, guys, you can fat finger long FOMO above 115, knowing that you're going to, I'd say, a buck 60 or higher, or higher. I mean, I'll spend a minute to review what has been the long term outlook the whole time. Okay, 30-second review. And we've done whole hour-long presentations on this before. You know, even the significance of why the 1618 is so critical. There you go. There's 1618. Then we're getting to 1902. Yeah, it's like 120 on that one. It's different. Then we get up to this 2618. That's the other. Keep that character shift in the back of your mind, everybody. That we're on the verge of that. I mean, this is what you want. You want to get here. You want to get above this, and then you want to do this in an accelerated fashion. Where if it took, I don't know, every swing low to high seems to be somewhere like a 6-month swing. If that's the case, then off of that April low should take us another 6 months higher, but we go maybe twice the distance in half the time. And that's been the plan. I mean, that's and that seemed like just a long way off. At a year ago, 18 months ago. But, you know, now we're well above 1025. And now we got to take a real look at the consideration of when we can start to look at 2618 expansion. If you are now $2,500, okay, 115, really close. You're like 2% away from that breakout threshold, which has been the breakout threshold all the time. And even, and I'll just say it this way, even the last few thrusts, like there you go. Okay, what's that? There's a 1618 on our last thrust from March 24 to the July low, August low. And then it should repeat this. And I want to be clear about it. We're looking for a character change like that, where when we do hit it, it blows through. And I guess the top end there was like, it wasn't quite 2618 off that low swing, but certainly like your 1902. If we do that again, and maybe it's next month, like we make a push to the 1618. And again, a lot of people are looking at that 130-ish, 128, 129. This would be the other metric. All right, if we're going to bust the move, where does it go off of that last retracement swing? A 1618 is really not much. Nice, Mr. Leaf. Mr. Leaf, hey, this is not a paid endorsement, but he says the HPC made him $1,400 this morning. Nice. I'm still loving the stocks, guys. I'm still loving the stocks and Bitcoin for sure. And I'll watch this other crypto. You know, I scaled out a lot of that Cardano and probably was a mistake. I'm still holding a bunch, but not nearly as much as I was before. And I'll hold it for no matter what. It's just kind of my resolve there. But I still think the action's Bitcoin. And you're targeting this kind of stuff. I mean, why not? 1, 2, 3, 4 months higher. Okay, that does not stop on one bar inflection. And again, you're up here against the 50 level. Like you go back up here with the 50 on HSI where you put in literally one more month there. And I think this is kind of the scenario to consider, that we'll continue to kind of punch up to 115. And then once we crack 115, 116, I think it's even 115 and $1, frankly. we will quickly then make the run to 120. I just think it's, once we get past here, people are going to start thinking 120, 130, 150, 200. Now, I'll target this as like an 886 failed breakout, which it is. Give me a 1618 up to like 130, 132. This is, these are like 90-day targets. 90-day targets with the bigger 2618. Again, that's 160, 162, guys. Yeah. We will still stair step this. I mean, that monthly chart looks amazing, but Bitcoin still proves that, hey, it has the capacity to do these 10, 20% retracements, but that's all they will continue to be. That's it. We're up here. We still have to clear out that shark. We have to blow it out, frankly. I mean, that's how you fail that. You have to fail that pretty aggressively. So look at 114 for now. Like the target for this weekend, up to 114, 114, 250 area. And then come Tuesday, we could, I think by Tuesday, either way, we can start to take a look at what exactly when we can look for this breakout. We are day 50. Okay, day 50 since the initial completion of the shark. And just describe what you see. We have a reaction, never got to target one, a couple of counter signals, now trying a retest with confirmation for the first time, but no reaction. I mean, literally, it would be like day two of this whole pattern with confirmation. After day one, it just says, no, I want to bypass it. You're looking and just smashes through. All right, I respect that. And then the weekly, again, you come to this weekly and monthly stuff where, boy, that just looks like a super strong breakout. And all you need is a close by the end of the week above 112. Close it right here. It would be fine by me. Cup and handle, or continuation of to the 886, from the 886 to 1618. You got a whole bunch of different scenarios there where it's already busted free. What's up, Greg? Welcome. Nice. Crack one for me, please. Hopefully that's by the pool. How about all these harmonics? What do you think, Mitch Ray? Mitch Ray in the house. What about all these harmonics, buddy? I think we're due. What do you say, Tuesday or Thursday next week? Get you on here. Mitch Ray in the house. Everybody give him a big shout out. Mitch is all over this. Are we ready to do it, Mitch? Finally? Are we going to crack this 115 area once and for all? A lot of things that are, pretty interesting across the board. But you're really close to cracking the levels, the make break levels. I really like the whole thought behind Bitcoin market cap chart. Okay, just think of Bitcoin as an ever increasing asset, a store of value, gold style, digital storage, if you will, aside from everything else. And say, look at the chart. I mean, that is a trending asset. There is just money continuing to get poured into that with higher highs, higher lows. And that's, it's got real potential now to be set free, break above this 2.2, 2.5, and really start to get up there. And again, what are the crazy scenarios? Crazy scenario, 3618. Again, we think about what they compare the Bitcoin market to gold. That's still a fraction. hold on one second. Hold on. Let me look that up because I think it's an important underlying consideration. You look at that chart, it's just beautiful breakout pointing in the right direction. And then what is the total possibility of of thinking of gold? I've got gold here, market cap 22 trillion. Is that right? I guess so, at 3,300. So if gold's at 20, here you go. This is actually a good chart. And this is the way I'm thinking about a lot of things, guys. Okay, I'm thinking that if the money printer has never gone off, and we're talking just about an allocation cycle where the reprinted money will just continue to get allocated to the top winners. Nvidia, Microsoft, Bitcoin, there you go, 2.24 trillion. I think that's a great way to think about comparable possibilities. Apple's 3 trillion, Amazon's 2.35, Nvidia almost 4, gold's at 22. So somewhere close to maybe Nvidia, you double it just to get it, relative, like top 10 asset, total asset market caps. There you go. Bitcoin's in there, moving up. Probably can get to 3 and be somewhere in that top 5 pretty easy. But if you're going to take it as a function of gold, we're 1/10 the gold ratio. And so that's how you get, that's interestingly enough, that same market cap to get like to the number 2 position is a 3618 advance. And that's what's at stake right here, right now, going forward into the end of the year. I think that's the maximum, but that's what at stake. Like, well done. Okay, plenty of time, by the way, plenty of time. But now we're looking for this thing to change character over the next few weeks, into next month. Give it 30 days. I don't even think you have to give it 30 days. Get above 2.25 trill. And then we go. Nice. Yeah. Look, there's still going to be, somebody's saying a 1 hour crab on Bitcoin. Yeah, what here continues to be something that I think is an easy way to go. No matter what the price of Bitcoin, just start looking for, if we are in an acceleration phase, which we are, I would still be just looking at spots like there and there and there, 4-hour HSIs. Even back here, even though it got washed out, we were looking down. No, it wasn't there. It was something earlier. I had this other pattern here too. That was the most recent 4-hour. But right back like 103-ish. But look at the 4-hour HSI dots. We'll get another one. It might be in a week, but going forward, relative to the next 6 months, this is how I would be playing it. Even on the hourly, because we're done banging the 100K. Yeah, the hourly, there's the last hourly. But hourly with a dot, because it's a better development picture, that was 108. And I said that last time. Looking just here and there and just start ballparking your entries. What was that? But certainly, guys, we're getting beyond that point where we should just absolutely separate ourselves from the 100, 105, even the 110 level. I don't, again, maybe you're back down here at 110 one more time, but this is how we should move forward. And now, really now, to get to that true launch pad, which is above 115. There's the weekly. I'm not even concerned about this until we see a couple of red candles. There was one red candle. We have a second. That's pretty interesting. Maybe we get another red dot at some point with a bearish weekly close, but you're still another week or more from that. This week's going to be bullish. Finish that by Sunday, right where you are right now. That's how I'd play it. All right, one more angle on the whole Bitcoin story. I just want to come back to this GBTC. Okay, this has been, I think, for me, since I had all my issues, it's just I just don't, man. Coinbase has been, it was stressful. I have to say that. I mean, it just was kind of amazing. But I'm glad I did this move, and I'm on an FDIC insured account with this, so I'm not going to get hacked because the spot's gone. But nice chunk of the GBTC, and I'm just going to continue to ride this like a lot of these continuation plays that we've talked about, and even GBTC since the monthly Gartley, which is it's significant because we can measure off this Gartley, and then once we take out each level, right now we're at the 1618, which is $90, 89.50, $90. You get above 90 on GBTC, same kind of deal. You start to break into price discovery. Related to the price, that's you look at an immediate overspill move. That's how you get up to like 125, 130 pretty quickly. GBTC gets to 100, 103. But, if everybody's right, and I want to just kind of, again, bring it back out, going forward, trending assets, guys, we want charts like this. Let me repeat. No matter what, no matter how great the next 12, 18, 24 months end up being, because I do think we're, breaking out and we're just continue to rock. We still want stuff like this. Push up, retrace, entry. Push up, retrace, entry. Low end of the channel. This one too. This one's probably on its way now after a nice 6-month consolidation at the median line. This is probably going back up to the top end of the range. Again, that's like 105, 110, maybe even 120-ish. All right, GBTC it's there, and the other thing is, look, they had that retrace just recently, a couple weeks ago, hit the 50 line and held. Amplified, still above the 50. Those are good signs. If that was under 50, I would say, okay, maybe you got a problem, or you're going to have to wait this out, but no. Anyway, it's a Bitcoin cycle. Take a look at market cap. Take a look at GBTC. All right. Take a look at the dominance thing. I don't really care about. I think that's going a lot higher. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to 70, and even your ETH BTC. We talked about that. Everyone's saying, well, when is this going to go so that you finally get some alt season for real? Beautiful pattern, absolutely. Even have confirmation. I mean, it's a pretty sweet creature. What in terms of if that correlates precisely to having a real alt cycle. It's starting to break above the 50 line, but again, is that really going to correlate to all of those garbage crypto to move? When we know that Bitcoin's ready to do a solid continuation leg of whatever. I've got big targets on it. I think those are going to be the maximum targets, but I also am impressed. Here you are, 100K Bitcoin. Prophecy's getting realized. Let's jump to Ethereum, kids, because here you go. Ethereum proving me wrong. And Ethereum is here back at that 2850 level. All right, and I'm just like I'm impressed. This deep crab. You have a couple things here. Okay, there's 2878. I think it was 28,750 on a different feed. Okay, confirmation there. Now you're starting to push up. I always said you have to get above 2850 to really do something. So I'm impressed. I'm giving it plenty of time. This was 1400. Now you're double that. But really, the first higher low of the whole downtrend going back the last 8 months was just 2 weeks ago. So, okay, is this really bottomed out? Maybe. Still got to bust through the 2878. I mean, to do something major. So it's still give it time. Give it time. That's what I say. And even if we pushed up to like a target two, which I think is possible, we need big. By at that point, Bitcoin should be gangbusters, guys. It should be gangbusters. So I'll say this: Ethereum has showed me, okay, that it doesn't want to completely crap out. It doesn't want to go sideways and just bleed out. I don't know what this was. I mean, think about this. You went from 4,000 down to 1,500 in 6 months. That's a lot. I'm really that's for me. It's devastation. I'm really surprised this move that however that got washed out, whatever that was really surprising. Was it a big shakeout? The whole thing you got to look at is against this monthly. You got to go against the monthly trend and just look at Ethereum as saying, okay, are we continuing? Are we doing something like this with Ethereum? Or even maybe it's something like that. I'm just trying to get everyone to think in terms of long-term trend channel. If this is a continuing growing asset, it has to maintain this channel. It almost busted it out. I mean, in fact, when we were at that low, had it closed right there, that would have probably violated the whole uptrend. So again, impressed by the recovery. I still say there's plenty of time, but you have to think of it like this. Whereas Bitcoin doesn't have the obstacles that Ethereum has. Bitcoin's just in an easier spot to run. Ethereum, yeah, okay, here you go. You're back. You're back to your 2,800. Yeah, I'm impressed. Couple more, guys. Couple more. Okay, so is it time? Because now here's XRP. And let's talk about XRP, guys, because it's has been my issue for the last 6 months. That has been my issue for the last 6 months, right? Let's do it this way. Probably even better, like off of that secondary high. It's kind of like that. Okay. Don't have a pattern here. That's a shame, but how much more time am I going to give this? And what is this? I mean, the bullish possibility, just so you know, on XRP is some kind of that's a bull flag. All right, best probably on the weekly. Let me get a better chart there. There you go. Bull flag. Let's redo all of this. I need a better data feed here. There you go. Okay, bull flag. Bitstamp, fine. Bull flag now. But that would have to be it. I'm not crazy about the structure. But if you're bullish, then you just went through the craziest high level consolidation for the last 7-8 months. I congratulate you. Because at one point you were 50% off the high to low. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where are we going to renew the acceleration if that's what this is going to do. There you go. And so can we break out here on the weekly? Maybe for the first time we're there, or in a better position than even back here back in May. But you're getting close to where, okay, I'll give you this. Listen, I've been saying to you guys that for months that XRP just wasn't presenting any patterns. Our indicators were down, and that's a weekly, and this was certainly down. That, okay, if that continues, that's just telling me internally we're still weak. But now we've pivoted 2-3 weeks of action. You broke out of that, and now you're trying to push it higher after what I think is a successful 50 test. And so with that, give me 4 hour. Give me an hourly, because what you're looking for are spots where then this does take off. And if that's $2, if that's 180, you're going to break through these patterns eventually. The 4 hour chart is still your friend. Look at all these patterns down here. 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish, 3 bullish at the low, and you're, again, 248, 245. You have several patterns right here. So maybe not just yet, but I'm watching. Maybe over the next few weeks. Maybe XRP does something like this, and then it's at this point over here. Maybe it's August. This thing starts to get a progression higher. No. Haven't looked at H-bar yet. But I will. But it's close, okay? Stellar lumens, frustrating as anything. And here we are, and beautiful butterfly, sideways, da-da-da. Is that it? Or are we finally going to do a move here? It's the first higher low since the retracement started. And amazingly, that was at 20 cents. The high was 60. That's at 2/3. Bye-bye. But that can't, it's so close to failing a few times there. Solana, same deal. Solana's just kind of between that 125, 130 in the low end, and then 150, 60 here. What is it? It's a shark. It's a really nice shark. It's just, floundered there for a while. There's the 1 and back for the 2. But I'll say this has to be the low. I would say it this way. The entire continuation of the bull market for Solana cannot take out that prior low at 127. It can't. It's a 1-2 off the shark. So you're really close. Let's see. And here's the weekly. Weekly trying to start. Can we make some kind of resumption here? That's what you're trying to get at for Solana. But it's been, remember, that was January here. And now 7-8 months later, you're still pretty much where you were back a year ago, March. Couple more. What do you guys have? Yes. I think with all those stocks, I think they're ripe for they're ripe for continuation. BTC, did it really? 113,300, guys. That's amazing. That is amazing. 113,300. New highs on Bitcoin. Up 2,000. Way to go. 14.2. That's it. Look, 14.2. 14,250. That's what I'm looking for now, tomorrow. Certainly. So what about the rest? So what about MicroStrategy? I saw that push, and now that should be, yeah, surprised that's not a lot higher. I'm surprised that is not a lot higher. 370 was the last dot entry. What about even like give me something on a 5-minute? Little 5-minute, what's that? Deep crab right now, but yeah, look, this is also, if you're really trying to get in on something, just respect the bearish patterns. Let them do their retracements. We've got one right now on MicroStrategy. Can we get to do something like this? You're 417. Yeah, you're up 9 or 10 today. Let it come in. But again, going forward, be ready to just kind of follow this thing. It's going to push up. It's going to have a retracement, temporary, and then it's going to go again. A couple more. Maker. Yeah, I can finish up on those. Look, Maker, that has had a nice year. Maker on the daily here. Well, you're up at 2K. Okay, there's Gartley here. Yeah, I mean, I'm respecting the Gartley. 2100, 2067. No confirmation, maybe, but that might be it. I don't like to come into something like that and just see it. Let me look at better. There you go. I would look at it like this. At least it's not 800 anymore. It was at the low this year. It was 800. And it's holding up, but I would look at these patterns as saying it's probably the target here. That's the other thing about what's about to happen. If we're going to run, how long are we going to go for? Like, let's say Maker blasts through here and does something like a bigger return to 2,500, but then stops, because that could happen, and then that be it. Just be prepared for that. You got a bunch of back-to-back patterns, but this is not trending. It's all recovery. If we were all-time new highs, I'd be like, okay, look for that to run. But we're recovery 2,500, but that could be about it. What's up, Alex? Alex is asking, how can BTC continue to climb into next year? Do we break the 4-year cycle? No, I don't think you break the 4-year cycle. We have to have, look, we have to get the 2618 advance on Bitcoin. The question is, can Bitcoin just keep running? Can this time be different? 13,400, amazing. Okay, and just go to 1 million. If we're going to do that market cap assessment, all right, BTC market cap, remember that. I think that's a great way to think about it. Now 2.26. I was saying 225 is the number. Remember, Nvidia, scratch under 4 trillion. Bitcoin, 2.25, number 6 or 7 on the list. Gold's 22 trillion. So what's gold? Gold, if we do a 382 of that, let's say we go to 40%. That's like 8 trillion. All right, that's 4x off of the low. How do you get there, though? I still think you have to do, you don't really break the trend channel. I mean, you can get there in a bit of an accelerated fashion, but my whole argument about this and a lot of these assets we're looking at, of what are the real winners, and I'm talking next 1, 2, 3 years minimum, they're going to continue these type of moves. It's always fun to capture the turnaround plays at a couple dollars a share and they go to $40, and that's amazing. Okay, but those are like 1 in 100. These are like 1 in 5s. And we jump on these kind of railroad tracks and ride it higher. And I don't think Bitcoin does break this channel, I think it's more of like it probably overextends dramatically, then comes back down, overextends, but we continue that progression until it is no more. I mean, that's just it. And I think you're at that point again. Harmonic levels to define the character, guys. That's what we're doing here. No one's really doing it except for Mitch, and he's doing patterns. He's doing a lot of things too. But I'm really just trying to lay out harmonic levels, simplify it, that to kind of let you know that we're entering, based on the framework, an accelerated zone. An accelerated zone where you break through that resistance, which is 1902, then bigger possibilities can unfold from there. Beyond the cycle, like again into next year, I think you'll have a big correction, but it'll be at much higher levels. A lot going on. A lot, it's going to be fun. I'm glad to see it. I guess. Let's go. Can Maker reach 3,3600? I don't think so. I think you got to take it in chunks. What did we learn from 6 months ago? How many of those crypto really held? Not a lot. A couple more. CEP. Did that complete that hold there? Yeah, it sure did. The 4 hour, remember this? All right, I like this. Now 33 above the XA level. We talked about counter equity. Another Bitcoin play. That's exactly the kind of thing you want to look for. Pattern completes here. Confirmation there at 29, 30 bucks. Minimum XA is 33. Hop level was 26. Came down. Some nice development. Now you're breaking out of like a 3-day, 5-day range. Okay, good. Because you're not thinking 33, you're thinking 40. I like that. I'm down on that. Rumble. I really like this stock. I really like this stock. I really do. I think Rumble's. It doesn't have. It's just not running. But this has a. Where's the big pattern? Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Rumble's got. It has this Gartley. It scratched close of the type 2. So close. I mean, 785, that would have been like Tesla 267. But I like that. Just keep an eye on it. This is something that could really fly. Yeah, you heard that first here. And I'm thinking 1329, but you're 950, you're $1.75 away from an official type 2 test. That would be beautiful. Couple more. Gold is money. I think it's also a big benchmark now, especially for Bitcoin. H bar, yeah, you know what? I was about to write that off. I did write that off on Tuesday. I was like, meh, another pattern. Meh, was not doing much. Okay. I'm trying not to get too dismissive on this stuff. But you do have this weekly thing. I'm kind of looking at a lot of this garbage, and it's still garbage. It's still garbage like that. So if your crypto does not have this broken out kind of aspect to it, and you're still in a downtrend, you're going to have to wait. And I would look at it like this, where, all right, you just literally just today, yesterday, and the weekly trigger was not until 1650, your 18 cents. So it's early. And even with the pattern, the daily crab here, I would still, I don't think we're going to get it. But boy, could we have a type 2 and then go? H par one more time at 1326 and then go forever? That one, and what's the Algorand? Hearing a lot about that. RWA, whatever. Had a pattern at 15. It's now 20, but is it only a type 1? I mean, algo, okay, this is what we're looking for, guys. With 2 weeks ago, I would say, nah, not really. But now, and with Bitcoin ready to break out, all right, I want to be a little more ready than I've been, but it's like this. We can honestly say that that downtrend that started back in December is over. We made the first higher low above that Thursday, a week ago, 1 week ago from the day. So we're still so early in this that give it time. But we're closer, and we didn't roll over and puke. A couple more. CRV. Yeah, I know. We've got to play catch up on this stuff. I mean, I needed Bitcoin to break out. I still need Bitcoin to break out. Curve DAO token. All right, we're trying to break out. I mean, literally today was day 1 for CRV. Maybe here we are at target 2 at 53 cents. You should probably position off of that if you're looking for an area for a stop loss. If we're going to resume it, it has to be from here. It's kind of like XRP. 4 hour, not yet. I mean, look, give me a pattern, and this is also something in the next week or two for a setup that this would be ideal. Think of it like this. We have a breakout now, first time since December, just in the last 2 days, 48 hours. Bust it, and in some kind of pattern on the 4 hour. The next HSI, something like that, that's to the right of this downtrend. That would be the perfect setup for this to then really start to go. And I mean like 80, 90, a buck. Get back up to here. 80, 90. Yeah, I'm not saying pivot yet to crypto. I agree with what Chipper Flipper's saying. Chip Flipper, I agree. Stocks are still the place to be. But if this pivots and Bitcoin's above 115, that's the prep for the moon. That is the preparation for the moon. Okay, and it's closer now than it's been ever. Ever. 113 plus now. Incredible. 113.7, guys. Remarkable. It's great. You want that. We really want that to continue. A couple more. And I'm going to have to dive deep here on stocks in general. What else? Talk to me. Hold it. Thank you. Yeah, it's great. AVAX. Look, and AVAX, we talked about this in we had a crypto webinar last year. I think it's on the Discord if you guys want to get that. Now, AVAX is all the way down here, and it's under 20 bucks. And it just did the retest of a deep crab. Everything was like, it's between 15 and 19. You're back at 19, almost 20. All right, but what's the downtrend here? It's still in force. And I know a lot of people are talking about this, but again, guys, we have to get through this. We got to break out here. Maybe today is day 1, 2, something like that. There you go. Let's look at it like this. That's since last year. So way early. You might want to look at it, but again, you're 19 or 20, maybe 16, maybe back at 16. There's so much of this. Again, the development phase on crypto can take 100 days, no problem. Justin wants SUI. I talked about that last time. And look, now it's doing the return move. It did shark to 5.0, and I thought, well, it needs a little more time back at 290. It came back, but then it bounced immediately. So now 340. Okay, SUI was another one where I said, hey, it's got to break out. Yes, it's trending, but it's got to break out of stuff like that. And maybe now you're getting closer. Again, I'm looking for markets that have development, least amount of potential drawdown, okay, and real acceleration areas. SUI, that's above 353. Got to go like this. Above 353, break it out and go to the hop. You have a couple patterns here. I think at a minimum, you go back, retest the shark at 410. Yeah, that's even up as high as 5. It's 4 something to 5. Again, get Bitcoin all-time new highs, running above 115. You're in business. Yeah, what is it with, somebody answer me this. What is it with Hyperliquid? What is this? Anybody? 20 words or less. Hold on. Hyper. What is this? Hyper versus hype? This isn't what we were looking at last time. This is hyper versus, I guess that's pretty new, versus hype. Hold on. What happened here, guys? That's the chart I've got. HYPE. I have to look at the HYPER, but hype, HYPE, hyper liquid at 43 bucks. I'm impressed. I still thought this would come back. I still thought, why? Because we have a all-time 382 retracement possibility. Here's the 886 right there. That was the 886 to a 236. I think that looks okay. I mean, I really do think that looks okay. Where maybe that's one that does. I was dismissive of this just on Tuesday. I really was. I was like, this thing is overextended in the short term. I don't have a position. I can't say just jump on that. But yeah, I'm impressed. This thing just every pullback down is met with an oversold signal. Good stuff though. What is hyper? Because that's new. I guess that's on MEXC. Maybe it's time to start sprinkling a little love around these beaten up T coins. Hyper. I would have easily confused that as hype. Probably thrown 10K in there. I'll come back around. Maybe it's time to come back around to these. Start really digging. One or two more. Hyper is 84 million market cap, even at that. Which means that it was this morning or 2 or 3 days ago, it was only at like a $15 million market cap. But so be it. One or two more. Pepe. Well, what about these? Pepe is nice. You know, again, I'm still going to say that if I had my choice, what's going to get you to the promised land? 10K here or 10K in stocks? I'm going to say stocks. But this is okay. I mean, it's okay for now. Your target one. The real challenge on these kind of recovery plays, guys, and do keep that in mind, that if we don't bust through clear levels, like for Pepe, that's at like 15 millionths of a whatever penny, and we roll over, that's probably it. That's the problem. We did H bar earlier. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I hope you guys do like what's going on here. Hit like, hit subscribe. I probably got about 15 more minutes and then I got to roll off. It's a summer. I'm really taking some time. I'm kind of chilling. I'm probably day trading 3 days out of 5. And when I can, I roll out early because I know, and I'll say this to everybody, we're coming up on one of the most active fall winter time frames where I just think things are going to be ballistic. So get in your downtime over the next 30, 60 days and then get ready. And get ready for a run that just is bonkers. We're there. One or two more. What is that? Pangy? What's up, Maximus? Pangy. Is that Pengu? Pengu. Let me see. Didn't that? Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, but I'm just not like the market is all sold off. Again, some of these really did work. Some of this stuff, this meme coin stuff. But you're here and it's early April. You want Nvidia at 100 or do you want Pengu, the penguin meme coin? Make sure you get that Nvidia first. Then all the penguins you want. Couple more. What days do I trade? I definitely look to take off on Wednesday. Wednesday is usually a quiet day, guys. And we'll see. A lot of times that's Wednesday and that's Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday are usually good active days. That's a very good question, though. You got it. Appreciate you, Darwin. I hope you are enjoying what's happening here. There's our review. Again, top 10 market caps here. Gold number 1 at 22.3 trillion. Nvidia almost 4. Microsoft 3.7. Apple 3.1. Amazon 2.35. Bitcoin 2.24. Probably 2.25 now. Silver at 2 trillion. I mean, if silver can be 2 trillion, guys, I think Bitcoin can be a multiple of silver. Somewhere put it between like, I think realistically 4 or 5 trillion rounded up. Amazing, but it's true. Meta 1.8 trillion. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I think we can look at some of those older coins too. Maybe we'd say that for Tuesday, but I hear what you're saying, Red. Like Link and Dot, Link never got. Link was the ultimate, not Interlink, Link USD, Chainlink. It's still, this is what I've been waiting on Link forever, is the weekly type 2. Would have been perfect. So short. Did I miss something here? I don't know. I really don't. I was looking at 940. But I'll wait. I want the perfect setups. I mean, here's the other one that as in terms of perfect, I come back to render all the time. And render's losing a lot of these. There you go. Big pattern, but done nothing. I think a few delisted it even. But so I'm still waiting for these better perfect situations for those type of coins. You got Solana and you got BNBs actually. We haven't looked at that much, but that's a beautiful chart. I mean, that's just a beautiful chart, 675. And monthly, yeah. And when we get above 730, 800, that's massive for Binance Coin. That's a beautiful chart. I'm pretty amazed with it, especially with what happened back in March. It reminds me of Bitcoin last year before it doubled. BNB with a ton of support at 600. That is as firm as it can be. Amazing. Couple more. Yeah, silver looks good, but there's those top assets. I think they all look good. And again, I would focus on top market cap candidates of like where you're going to play. There's the top 10. Here's the top 20. TSM, Broadcom, those are two that I'm long. I've told talked about it, especially TSM. And then even if you go like lower down, Visa, Lilly, Walmart, all of those are just begging to become trillion-dollar companies. Amazing. Amazing. Netflix is only a $500 billion company. That's incredible. So just be aware that's where we're headed with a lot of the stuff. We're knocking on the door, knocking on it. Let's quick jump over to NASDAQ right now, guys. Okay, 23,000. 23.1 has been the whole objective. Okay, and check it out. We're here now. We need a red day. One red day doesn't mean anything. We will get a dot if that's red. So you're down 26. This could still be positive, and that dot goes away. So look at it today, tomorrow. You're not even thinking about anything until next week. Is there a possibility this could top out for right now? Maybe, but it's after today or after the next red day. And we're only, like I said, only down 25. Yeah, BTC 113, 114. That's great. I should have a counter up. Couple more. I know Mitch is probably about to go live in a second here. Guys, get over to see Mitch Ray after this. He'll be chomping at the bit. But it's great to see all of this stuff crack all-time new highs. This is what we want, the kind of market we want this to continue. But for now, all right, let the dot come in, and we'd still even have several days after that. Is this the July temporary top somewhere in here? Very possibly. Okay, I want to be clear about that, is that, we've come a long way. We're still not even day one of that consideration, but let that happen. And what I would love to see going into end of the month, into August, is like maybe in the next couple of trading days, this does start to stall out. And then we get a kind of a relief little retracement rally, 800, 1,000 points. And then come like August, September, we get a counter HSI and we go like that. That would be kind of the strong model of what should happen going into the end of the year. I talked about targets last week. I'm still going to stick to the stair-step limits, and that's 23,600, guys. We do have work to do, and we could have a retracement before this level is hit. But above 23.6, that's like 115 on Bitcoin. You are set free. And it would be that move to 26, almost 27K. That's our plan. I'm going to just keep pounding this for the next many weeks because we want to see this set up to get to from where we are now, relieve it, bust it, and then get that acceleration. Big stuff. Yep. Couple more. That's NASDAQ, QQQ. What does that mean? Well, you're here at 555. That put in a dot yesterday, and we're right at the hop at 560. Look, there's clear patterns here. Clear patterns. But we're doing it in a strong way where, okay, if this was a bearish pattern setup, I would consider literally, today is day 1 or 2. It could be day 1 if it's bearish because there's the signal. Yesterday was bullish. We need one bearish bar to even think that that's ready. Make it official. But it's right here. I would think that'd be a great spot. Have a little retracement and then go and then gone. Go and gone. And it's like that to there. Remember, I don't know if you guys haven't seen the January discussion. I know it's on this YouTube page. Hit subscribe to access that and hit the like button if you like what's going on. But, again, I laid this out back in January 1. We'd have a retracement, then the recovery, and we want to slam through this for all of this to go 1618 discovery. The 1618 on QQQ is 645. That's what's at stake once we get through this. Let's go. A couple more. Andrew wants to look at the solar, and that's, we talked about Solar Edge and First Solar. There you go, 39, and we like this. This is recovery. There you go. Last week was maybe week one for this whole situation because you topped out February 21. 4 years later, you bottom out, but we have not violated that downtrend until 2 weeks ago. It's moving, okay, but it's early. Solar Edge, it's probably one I should be looking at. The last, they flushed that out down at 14 or something, and it's now 26. Yeah, it was down there, 14. That's right. Look, can we get? I think this is overdone, but if we get to 21 and then we can do something there, you're looking for a bigger turnaround. And with the markets at all-time new highs, we can start looking for turnarounds. Couple others, it's real speculative stuff. I told you guys about QuantumScape. Look at this thing. All right, can this be a runner? This is a quantum stock. Look at this. I know I brought this up at like $4.50, $5. There you go. That's a little runner. There's a few of these that are, starting to do things. The other one I mentioned here, IONQ, another quantum. Remember at 37 had this right here, had a target one playing the return back to 49. So a lot of things like this are having big moves, let them retrace, give you a dot like that, and it's another place to look. Joby, I don't know, this thing's gone. This thing is gone, but I brought this up a while ago. 1230 now. I mean, it's kind of like an ASTS thing. I can't really, let me give you guys something we can really kind of sink our teeth into. Well, I really don't care for the company, but the chart is starting to look good. Moderna. If we're looking for turnaround plays, big stuff that's absolutely crushed, that's about as crushed as you can get. You're 90+%. Under 32. I'm still for the trending companies, but a lot of these are beginning to base out. So I'll give them a little love because I do think we've given it enough time. And if the market's going to run, that's when these low floaters move. We're all-time new highs. One or two more. Guys, Reddit is coming in. And it's another one. Big retracement. We've been talking about this to do a type 1. Same type of deal. This is like IONQ, but before it actually hit target 1. I'm waiting for that and then do the return move. There's a lot. Don't know what is fate, man. Don't know. Let's come back on that Tuesday. Because even with the rest of crypto, I want to see this stuff. With crypto, I want to see it run. Palantir is probably one of the key markets to see if we're really going to bust out. We're up here. We have a shark. Look, if Palantir fails this shark and we're trading 145, 148, then the market's going gangbusters. I'm just, Palantir just continues this path no matter what. I think you're not worried about 140. You're not worried about 150. You're thinking like 240, 250. A lot going on there. I mean, there's a lot of these type of stocks that have they're continuing to rock. Look at hold on. Where's Robinhood? Robinhood here, right back at 100, guys. 197.40 at the moment, and we're looking for Robinhood to do a 1618, but the structure is still 105. Look for a 127 advance to 107, 106, something like that. 106. But a bunch of these just continue to rock. I do like what other things are happening. Other individual issues, more speculative stuff continues to run. That's great. NASDAQ now only down 15. Here we go. Oh man, I don't. All right, I'm gonna look at your fate, and then if I have to ban you, I'm gonna ban you. Is that what it is, or what is fate? I don't know what that is. Fate Therapeutics. Can't do that. No. Look, there's a big difference between something like that and something like Moderna. It's I want to look at these. I want to kind of get in front of these as they progress. But something like this, no. You're at $1 for a long time. Look, I'd rather go Nvidia. And I told you guys, Nvidia to 190, 195. We're 164 now. There's nothing between these levels. Be aware of that. You're praying for the next retracement down on Nvidia, even if it's a 60-minute, and you're just going to buy every one. That's the take. Nvidia to 195. Is that the Palantir 2X? It sure is. That's nice. Palantir 2X Granite shares. I like those vehicles. What's the daily or the weekly? Oh, that just traded, huh? That just started. Give it a little time, but that helps. And those Tesla vehicles are good as well. Here's Tesla, guys. 304. It has a 4-hour. I mean, I'm really tempted to start back on this. I want to see 267 on Tesla. I'm concerned that this thing is not going to give it. Tesla's like that, and then the Granite 2X shares like this, or the 125. 125, yeah, but the point is there's patterns there. 2X BAT. No, that's the 125. What's the Tesla R? Yeah, Tesla R, the 2X. And here we go. Nice, like a secondary market to see whether or not Tesla's a buy. Big bat pattern. I like that. 1687, 15-ish. The stock just split on PTIR. Okay. Thanks. I didn't see that though. Guys, I like Tesla. I think we're weeks away from a permanent low. Can we trigger it and go? That would be nice. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad. All right, one or two more, and then I'm going to direct you guys over to Mitch, because I don't blame you. SMLR 40. Nothing there, my friend. It was a type 2 back there. You got to be in front of these. No. No on ScottBot. Not. I'll tell you why on Tuesday. Bring that up on Tuesday. But you got to like this action, guys. I mean, come on. Everybody. Oh, okay, let's do that. Who wants to get a 30-day package for 30-day to Harmonic Trader and 30 days to the software? Type in HPC 30. All right, and I'll even give you a 30% off to get it after the 30 days. But send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Raphael, you win. Raphael, you've got to hook me up. Send me your full name, email, and your TradingView username. You got to discard send it to me on Discord. Here is the link. Please check that on the chat bot. Anybody else, if you have any questions or you want to get those recordings, if you can't find them, just hit me up. I'll send you direct links. But that's what we have for today, folks. Again, great stuff. I love what I'm seeing. 115 on Bitcoin is the fat finger long. This market will continue higher. Let's see, maybe next week we reach for some of those higher levels, and then we'll look at possible confirmation. But again, you are a week, 2, 3 weeks away before anything like that happens. Well done, Bitcoin. Big round of applause. Rafael, you were the only winner. We're going to do one. I'll give away 2 on Tuesday, so come on back. If you didn't win, hit me up if you have any questions. And until then, as always, people, go get them.